Good afternoon, Professor Seward. And my name is Joel Burns, and I'm accompanied with Noah Lee. And this is our
Hello.
submission. Yep, there he is, the boy. And this is our submission for our final progress update on our final for our progress update.
Which is an update for our final with progress since the last one, which was an update on our final, which had progress since the one before that.
Indubitably.
Here is the outline to our project. We can see the primary place where a user would first send a request to the system. We have two primary methods of interacting with the API. The first one is sending audio. This will be a base64 representation of the audio that a user wants to have be transcribed and then responded to. After we get if it's sent to the API, we then save the raw version of the audio, then send it to the AI. We first parse the audio into a transcription, then compose a response, then transfer this to a text-to-speech function to compose and return an audio file. In the process, we save information about the audio file as a summary, and in addition, we save a response. The summary is created by a separate AI whose task is to summarize both the response from the AI along with the initial message from the user. We also save all of this information to Firestore for easy access to all of the functions. Additionally, we support the getting of history of a function, which is done by first sending a user ID to a secondary API, which then returns information about other posts that a user has made based on the API. Then both the user ID and an API and the post key can be sent to the API, which interacts with storage, and returns information about the post back to the user in the same request. You can probably start from ingest, I guess. That makes sense to you, Joel?
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh my God. There's a couple of those. Huh, that's
Some
neat.
would say that it has got some mild use.
Well, a touch, maybe. Okay, so since we've been going over this one a couple of times in the previous updates, I'll just briefly summarize what we have. This is the primary ingest function. This is what a user would interact with to send a request to have a file be translated. This first takes either a get post or a unsupported delete request. If it is a get or post, a get method just returns a user very simply, and then creates a Firestore a Firestore doc with the user information. If it is a post request, we assume that there is the content of an audio file in base64. We then process this, set up the paths to the original and transcription. We then send the original off, send a transcription to get the transcribed text back, send the transcription to the storage bucket along with the raw text to the Firestore, then send off to the AI to get the AI response. This is then saved directly as text. Last, we send off a request to the synthesized speech to get the speech back. This is then both stored and then returned to the user as a TTS buffer, as an audio/MPEG base64. Save all this to Firestore, and then all of the helper functions to handle all of those portions. And moving on, we can go ahead and show off the history portion that Joel handled.
Hello, I'm Joel.
Hi,
And this
Joel.
is our cap voice history function. And so what this is essentially accomplishing is this is how the user would retrieve the history from their previous conversations with the AI. How it works is that the user is asked to upload their UUID, correct? Then after that, it shows like a list of upload IDs that would be generated every time like an interaction is created. The user then is asked to put in a number that corresponds to that upload ID. And then when they do that, it says, all right, you know what, for security, one more time, let's upload your UUID one more time. And then after it's done and it goes through the Firebase to make sure that the UUID matches with the upload ID and that there's information tied to it, it pulls back all the information, such as right there, from lines 70 or 47, sorry, to 52. The AI text response, the summary, the created time, the status, and the upload ID plus the user ID. for viewing purposes, and that's pretty much all there is to it.
Yay!
Yeah.
Lastly is the Firestore function. This is the storage triggered function that is triggered upon a file being uploaded to our storage bucket. In particular, we check for the file to be a transcription. You have to parse through the file name a little bit to get access to this and extract the last portion off. First and second portions being the path to the user ID, then the upload ID. If we do not have a transcription.txt, we then just return and say that it is not a transcription. Otherwise, we go ahead and process it. Then again, this was discussed in a previous update, but we run a brief sleep function on the upload, making sure that it has been uploaded before processing it. This is done for simply just with invoking a 1-second wait if the document does not exist. Otherwise, we return the function back to the main processing loop. We then go ahead and extract the transcription and the AI response from the Firestore file. These can then be sent to a call AI, which asks the AI to compose a summary of the conversation between the requester and the AI. They return this back as a new object that is the AI summary. We then store this separately in as both a file and a raw text within the user's Firestore information, with this also being returned as part of the calls to history. Yay!
Yeah. Okay, so we tried to work with our API. Unfortunately, our project will be lacking in that. More, it's kind of because like we didn't really have that much time to delve into it. The timeline for this project was a little awkward, with all like our finals being back to back to back to back. So due to all that, we weren't able to like fully flesh out going through that. So unfortunately, we will not be able to show the API integration.
I did do a little bit of work trying to get API to work, but I think just because we didn't have a good, in my opinion, a good kind of baseline to go off of for that. I think we had like a Hello World type project previously, but composing the whole thing was kind of tough, and I was having issues with. I think I ended up trying to use like API 3.0, which is not what function uses, so that did not work at all. And then I reworded it, and it still kind of was not doing it, and boom. Anyway, from there, we can go ahead and jump into some actual calls to everything. I did this previously, but I'll quickly go ahead and show another one of these. So we can example use, I don't know, front flip, I guess. I can quickly go ahead and play that from the samples, which is here. And I'll play front flip and just shove this in here.
Teach me how to do a front flip in a couple of words.
We can go ahead and send this through the API, or not the API, we're just using the actual normal token since we couldn't get API to work. But if I go ahead and use the same UID and the front flip thing, and then we say, I'm gonna, yay, front flip, and then we say go, we say go, we just, nope, save, and then we say go, then we wait, then we wait, then we wait, and then we wait, then we wait, then we wait, then we, yay, to output, not in output, where is it? Voice ingest output, voice ingest output, output, oh, I didn't save it, drat, it's this one though. So we got the response, and here's what it sounds like.
Okay, I can offer some guidance. Learning a front flip requires gradual progression and ideally, supervision. 1. Start with a solid front roll. **** master a fast, controlled front roll, keeping your head tucked and pushing with your legs. 2. Practice a front handspring, if possible, ***. This builds the shoulder strength and spatial awareness needed. 3. Front flip drills. ***, practice jumping high, tucking your knees tightly to your chest, and spotting a point in front of you. Use a soft landing surface. Consider using a spotter. 4. Putting it together. ***, combine the jump, tuck, and rotation. Focus on a tight tuck and a quick, controlled rotation. Land with bent knees. Important. ***, these are general instructions and don't replace proper coaching. Be patient and prioritize safety. Awesome and amazing are a couple of words you can use to describe a successful front flip. Good luck and be careful.
And we can show, do you want to explain, I guess?
Yeah, so it's fairly simple. It's a little bit long, but it's quite simple. You just how it works is that it's connected to the URL for the function first and foremost, because yeah, without that it kind of wouldn't work. Um you it queries is query the right it queries the user,
Yeah.
asks the user to gosh, why am I blanking? I just made it. To add the UUID. After that, it goes to the Firebase, as I stated earlier, and pulls back that list right there that Noah just pulled. Numbers 1 through however many you've created, and then you get to select 13, for example, put the UUID again, and then it brings back all the information. All it doesn't like all it's written in there is like get the identity token, the ask a question, then it has like the function for like grabbing or asking the ID first, then grabbing it all and putting it into a nice neat little list, and then letting the user, as I said, pick from the list and then insert the ID one more time and then dragging it all back in a neat little format. Last time you saw it, it was like kind of messy, some would say, and very
Because it pulled
unorganized.
like the entirety of Firestore.
I think that's
I
not a mistake.
remember that. It's actually really interesting.
Right?
There is a lot of processing going on the user side, but you need a auth token anyway. So, can't do that. And we can also show off the Firestore, which is located here. So we only have a whopping one user because we just use the same one all the time. But this is everything that we've been working with. There are 13 here. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yay! And then you can look at one of these and go, here is, I don't know, the meaning of life, and then the response, and that's it. Then we also used buckets, and to show this off, go to, it was this one, I think. It has all the cool stuff and the summary and everything, and yay!
Thank you for watching, Professor Wood. I hope you have a great rest of your day and furthermore, a great summer. It's been a pleasure, and this is Joel Burns signing off.
And this is Noah Lee signing off as well.